Hi guys, so this is the vlog and podcast from Zimmer Peacock. We like to do a vlog and podcast every Sunday at 8 p.m. London time, and this is a sort of retrospective look back at the week. So just to sort of fairly well jump it straight into it, let's just do some news from ZP. So this is a look back from the news from Zimmer Peacock for the week starting the 2nd of August 2021, though today is the 8th of August, and it's a look back at the news. Cool. So this is we have a good bunch of people who recently come along. So hi Saran, I thought you might be there. Cool. So let me just give a quick bit of news. So this week every week we do a 8 a.m. London time. We do on a Thursday a webinar for our ZP developers. This week was very unusual. We had 3 different inquiries, and they were all regarding electronics. So we gave some hints about where people can go and get information about open source potentiostats. And we also said, look, as much as we love electronics at Zimmer and Peacock, we said, look, we've just dropped the pricing on some of our electronics. So, we don't want the electronics to be a big problem for people starting their companies or people starting their development. So we've similarly, we did a webinar on it. The webinar's linked here, and we said, look, we've also dropped some of our pricing as well around our electronics. So I appreciate the people who come to our ZP Developer Zone webinars every week, and obviously, as per normal, we did that this week. Now, going forward a bit, some other news from Zimmer Peacock for this week is one of our engineers is online at the moment. His name is Saran, and he'll like this. We're very keen, and I'm very supportive of it. If you want to be a really good company, you have to obviously good people, good products, good ideas, and it's probably a good idea to run yourself in a really good way. Your housekeeping's got to be good. And Saran is very keen on this, and I'm also very keen on this as well. And so we've been setting up this new facility in the UK. We've been obviously in the UK, for years, but we've got a new facility. The guys have been putting in a little workshop in there, and it's just a small picture, but it does tell you something about who we are at Zimmer and Peacock. That we've put all the little trays up, got all our screws in there, get all our screwdrivers along the wall, make sure it's all clean and tidy. And I think that does reflect, if you want to be a quality company and you want to be really world edge or really world leading, you need to get the basics right, and so this little picture is important, because it sort of demonstrates to everyone that we just take care of the details. And if you're taking care of the details, then you can build great products and build services on top of that, as well. So just a bit of news from Zimmer Peacock this week. The guys have been busy setting up the new workshop in the UK, and we just put a little picture up there just to kind of show you, how we do take care of the details in the business as well. And I appreciate Aftab has come online as well. Aftab runs is our representative in India. So if you've got any particular not concerns but products or services that you're looking at from Zimmer and Peacock, then we do have a very strong distributor in India as well. This is just some news as well. There's a company out there that makes accessories for the electrochemistry world. They're called Redox Me. They're really quite good at making mechanical pieces, and so a little while ago we'd shipped them some screen printed cheers after, but it's nice and clean and tidy. A little while ago we shipped them some electrodes, and they've just come out now with a new range of holders, which also work with Zimmer and Peacock electrodes. So when you look at the images that these guys have, you'll actually realize that it says it quite clearly. This is a ZP screen printer electrode in here. So Redox Me, they make these nice accessories for people interested in electrochemistry, and they've made some nice little accessories that are actually compatible with the ZP electrodes. Now, one of these holders will be coming to us, and when it does, we'll make a video about it and put it on YouTube and stuff. But so you'll get to sort of get a more yeah, you'll get a more substantive feel for it. But I think this is quite interesting, and I think we're going to try them out ourselves. One of them, it allows you just to be able to pipette solutions onto the electrode. I think that's actually quite useful. I mean, we pipette solutions onto electrode, but sometimes obviously solutions can, move away, and it's neater just to hold them in place. So they've made a little holder like that. I think that's pretty cool. They've also made a flow cell. I think that's quite useful. People who want to do analysis online, you can essentially bring the sample through a flow cell, have a pump, bring it through a flow cell, and just do a little bit of analysis. So I think that's pretty cool. They've also done the ability to bring in a reference. No, actually, no. This is for spectroelectrochemistry. So they've also built it so you can bring a sort of fiber optic in here and actually do some sort of especially spectroscopy in line with electrochemistry as well. So if I was just to sort of sum up this page a bit, RedoxMe have designed some new screen printed electrode holders. They do have some good engineering design, these guys. I thought they've been pretty good for a while. We gave them some screen printed electrodes, and they've designed some holders around ours, and we will take a look at them at our place, and we'll make a video about it. But just for people like AFTAB, this might be interesting. A nice little accessory to sell. And to Saran, who's also online, you might like to take a look at these. These guys make some very sweet engineering. So that's just a little bit of news from Zimmer Peacock regarding new holders that have come from a friendly company to us called RedoxMe. Now I know I talk about the nitrating in soil occasionally, not too much, but on occasions I do. And we have put together a very detailed note around this as well. So we've been having this field study in the UK where we put these nitrate sensors into the ground, and we've been monitoring them. There's a lot of text here and there's a lot of data, and we've also been doing color mapping. So some of you who are interested in being data scientists for Zimmer Peacock, and some of you who are now data scientists for Zimmer Peacock and coming up the curve on it, we are data science for me and biosensors. This is just the future of, it's the future for many of us, but I generally think that data science is so important to the world of biosensing. I mean, these are nitrate sensors, so you get millivolt data, then you have to convert millivolt data into ppm, and then you can start actually bringing color into the data, to make it meaningful, for a farmer or an agronomist. When you look at the images on our website, it's color coded so that you have a sense that when they first started there was some nitrate, and then the nitrate went away, and then it became very red, so that means the nitrate's coming back. So that's much more intuitive for a farmer than just lines on a graph. So data science is cool, nitrate sensing is cool, and data visualization is pretty important. And if any of you are sort of wondering what directions your career should go in, I would always recommend data science. It's such a cool subject. But of course you need the underlying sensors, and that's why it's good to talk to people like Zimmer Peacock. I'm not going to be too long this evening, so just a few more things to talk about. We do a lot of parallel testing at Zimmer Peacock. I know that AFTAB comes to our webinars every Thursday at 8 a.m, so he knows all about this, but this was just some pictures that the guys had taken in the lab. And what you get here is a sense of this. Here's the screen printer electrode. So they've got something like 12 electrodes in a circle there. You can see the software running here, so they're doing impedance spectroscopy. So it really is one of the reasons why we are really good at making biosensors, because when a scientist goes into the lab, they're not going up to a single channel potentiostat, they're going up to a multi-channel potentiostat. There's no limitation to the number of electrodes that we can give them. There's the things that normally frustrate and annoy you, these are not a problem when working with Zimmer and Peacock. So it's just to kind of say that we've almost industrialized biosensor development. Clearly we've industrialized manufacturing, but we've almost industrialized the actual development as well. You know, that we've got so many multi-channel potentiostats, and there's, you know, we buy them, you know, sort of like, you know, a new one every month. I mean, at this point the company, you know, is 85 people, you know, and we've got a high number of multi-channel potentiostats because we need to develop sensors. We need enough sensors to say, you know, is this working or is it not working? And, you know, if you make 1, 2 or 3 sensors, you can have an outlier. But what do? We just have, you know, an infinite number of sensors essentially available to us because we manufacture the electrodes. You know, we've got enough workforce to be able to make biosensors, and then we have enough parallel potentiostats to actually be able to do all this testing. So if you're interested in doing biosensor development, one of the first things you have to do is get this kind of high throughput testing sorted out as well. Now what I will do is now I did put a little bit of an article out here as well because we've been getting some inquiries. People are very interested in that nitrate sensor, but I realize that, you know, as much as people want to test nitrate in soil, they're also quite keen in understanding nitrate in water. And now what's, you know, they call it, I think they call it eutrophication. So eutrophication is this, that you put the nitrate on the soil and it runs off the field and into the water. Now in the water then it can cause things like algae blooms, and the algae can all bloom up, you know, now at which point now the algae can actually die. It becomes organic matter and it starts being broken down, and the bacteria start breaking it down. Now at this point you can then move into a phase called anoxia, where the algae had grown up, the algae had died, the bacteria started coming in and eating it, the oxygen was consumed in the water, and so you then got this anoxia, and unfortunately the water stunk because it was anaerobic, and the fish started dying. So we just kind of put together a little bit of an article around that. And, you know, when you look at Zimmer and Peacock and you look at our portfolio, we have that nitrate sensor which can be used in water, the phosphate sensor, the potassium sensor, the ammonium sensor, the dissolved oxygen sensor, and the pH sensor. And the only one I didn't put on here was a saline sensor. So we do have a saline sensor because I thought, well, I'll just put the sensors down that are probably most useful for fresh water. But if we were talking about seawater, then I could have also added a salinity sensor there as well. So it's just to kind of say that you know, we have all these sensors and they can all be useful for actually understanding, you know, eutrophication, which is the algae blooms, and then anoxia, which is often comes after eutrophication and is the result of bacteria breaking down this decomposing algae and consuming all the oxygen. You consume all the oxygen and the fish can't breathe, and you've got a second wave of sort of environmental damage. So the last sort of last news just from this week was a fun image that kind of came through this afternoon from one of our engineers. So Zimmer and Peacock, we have these facilities in Norway and we have them in the UK as well. And I think this afternoon one of our engineers went to the local climbing gym and took a photograph of one of our other engineers, and this is Anna. You can see Anna hanging upside down here from a climbing wall. So she's literally her head is near the ground and her feet are up above her head. And I just put a quote, you know, impossible is nothing. And I think this, you know, even though these guys are out there having fun, I think this kind of attitude that, you know, that we can achieve most things that we put our minds to is definitely a philosophy at Zimmer and Peacock. You know, as long as we're not being asked to produce magic, and as long as it's within the, you know, the confines of electrochemical sensing, we can probably do an awful lot of things. And it's only really, you know, does the person have enough revenue to do what they need to do, and is there a decent business model that actually can afford to do this even if we are successful? But this picture of Anna hanging upside down, it just reminded me that, you know, sort of nothing is impossible. It's just you got to put your mind to it. So I think we also carry that attitude with us at Zimmer and Peacock as well. So let me just do a quick summary. I appreciate Aftab and Saran has said hello over the chat this evening. Saran is one of our key engineers, and Aftab represents ZP in India, so it's good to have those two guys online. So just a quick summary. We talked about electronics with biosensors this week. We're really going to make some moves on the electronics soon. I always tell people, look, if you want to have a good software experience, good electronics experience, get yourself a Sense It Smart, and then develop your own electronics. But you can get that opinion from me in that video, so I won't make that point again and again. I also want to just say, thanks to the guys, the mechanical engineers in the UK who set up the workshop so beautifully. Also, thank you to our friends over at Redox Me. They've made some really nice holders for our screen printed electrodes. I'll put some videos out on YouTube, so Aftab, keep an eye on that. You might find that interesting. We just put some more data out on the nitrate sensor this week. We also just put some pictures that some guys have taken in our labs about our philosophy of high throughput testing when we're doing biosensor development. It also made me think that we needed to talk a bit more about nitrogen testing in water, because we do a lot of nitrogen testing, but we often do it in the soil. And then I just thought it would be fun to put a picture up of Anna, one of our engineers, hanging upside down, because I think it does reflect our attitude that it might seem impossible, but we will try it at least. So yeah, thanks very much, guys, for attending this evening. I'll see some of you at 8 a.m. On Thursday for the Developer Zone, and Saran, I shall see you in work. So take care, guys, and catch you all soon. All right.